Hey everyone, it's Sophia. It's Let's Talk Sex Tuesday here from the Happy Vagina Project. On my phone today because the internet is being a little sketchy where I live, so hopefully I don't cut in and out on you today. Yeah, we've had some big winds and the weather is changing, and so that's making all the electronics a little funky. So, yeah, welcome. I'm glad you're here, whether you're on the replay or joining me live. I'm really excited about today's topic. We're going to be talking about my top 5 tips for feeling more connected to your partner. When I do, customer outreach surveys, when I hear from you folks about what is going on and what you're looking for support with, feeling a sense of connection to your partner on the day-to-day and while you're making love is probably one of the most common things that I hear. And so I just want to give you a little bit of inspiration and some ideas today on how you can flick the switch and feel more in tune, feel more connected, feel more seen. That's often what we're really talking about, is a sense of feeling seen by our partners and a sense of feeling that they feel seen by us, right? That's really what intimacy means. Into me, you see. It's a sense of feeling seen and heard and loved for who we are, even our deep, dark, gooey bits, right? So, what are my top 5 tips? The first one you've probably seen me blog about and comment about before on social, but I am super big on what I call micro intimacy. Other people call this simmering. So it's the idea that for many of us, desire and arousal is not just this switch that you flick. It's not like as soon as bedtime comes, you can just turn on the arousal switch and be all ready to go. And Emily Nagoski gets into a lot of the details of how arousal and desire really work in her book, Come As You Are. I highly recommend it. But one of the things that we talk about is this idea that people need to be at a simmer kind of all day so that it's easier to get up to a boil, right? If you're trying to boil a pot of water from nothing to full steam, it's going to take longer than if the pot's sort of been simmering all day. So what does that mean? Well, that means that you're looking to find these micro moments. They might be under 60 seconds, they might be 5 minutes, they might be 10 minutes, but they're short, quick ways of connecting with your partner to let them know you love them, you care about them, you see them, to bring a little bit of fun and joy into your day, especially when things are feeling really heavy and stressful and everyone's tired. And examples of this are things like actually kissing before you both leave for work for the day, or at the end of the day when your partner comes home, or when you see each other again. Like, don't just give each other a mindless peck while you deal with whatever it is that you're dealing with. Like, stop, look at them, and actually kiss. Maybe even French kiss. Kiss for like a full 60 seconds if you can. Have a full present exchange. This might look like slapping each other's bums. It might look like sending loving texts or sexy texts. It might look like sharing something that you want to try in the bedroom. It might look like making your partner's favorite dish for dinner. So it might look like taking 10 minutes to give each other each a 5-minute hand massage. And if you're watching live, let me know in the comments, what are some things that make you feel connected to your partner in a split second? Sometimes I like to just insist that my partner slow dance with me for one song. That's 2 minutes, one song, or just dance with me. Micro intimacy is amazing. It's the fuel that feeds libido, especially for partners who are slower to desire and slower to arousal. It fuels the fire and it keeps you feeling connected and tethered to each other throughout the day, which means it's easier to dive into the sack or into sex or into naked, sexy fun time, as I like to call it, if you're already feeling warm, right? The idea is to keep your partner feeling warm throughout the day. And the other way that can look is the form of appreciation, right? Sharing gratitudes for your partner, what you love about them, something they did that day that made you feel good. Laughing together, right? Telling jokes, encouraging each other to lighten up, be silly. My partner's really good at that one. So micro intimacy and this concept of simmering is one of my biggest tips to share with you. The second one is eye gazing. And this can feel really uncomfortable sometimes for people because we're not used to it. This tip, you could use it anytime, but it's particularly useful when you're actually in the bedroom. So 2 ways that I like to use it are before diving into getting intimate, maybe even before you take your clothes off. Just sit facing each other. You can sit sort of in each other's laps, or you can just sit cross-legged facing each other and just actually look into each other's eyes. Take 5 minutes, take some deep breaths, and just look at each other. You want to go left eye to left eye. That's heart to heart. You can even put one hand on your heart, one hand on your partner's heart. You could even, if that feels too weird to do it kind of like that, you could slow dance and look into each other's eyes the whole time, right? And you can take breaks, but just sit with actually looking at each other, feeling seen in that, and see what comes up. While you're in the process of making love as well, we often have a tendency to close our eyes. Might be because we're trying to tune into what we're feeling, or maybe we're trying to tune out too. That can happen. So encouraging ourselves to open our eyes and make eye contact with our partner, maybe saying I love you, maybe say a gratitude, maybe say that feels so good. Eye gazing, making eye contact is a really powerful way to feel connected and to feel literally seen by your partner. Step number 3 is breathing together. And this can look really formal, like a formal meditation practice together. And it can also look like just taking 3 deep breaths together. Ideally, while eye gazing. Again, you can do this before you start to get naked and have fun together. Or while you're making love, things are feeling out of sync or you're not quite getting into it. You could encourage each other to make eye contact and take, 3, 5, 10 deep breaths together. And you just feel into your bodies, feel into what's happening, feel into each other. On a deeper level, when we breathe together, when we do so for a little bit longer, like 21 breaths together, what we start to do is actually sync our energy patterns together. We're taking in each other's breath, and we're building this cycle of energy that's being shared between us. And this can really create a wonderful sense of union and connection on sort of a more metaphysical level, right? And there's more advanced tantra practices that I teach around that, but simply breathing together, I love taking deep breaths, is a great way to shift the energy in the moment and reconnect when you're having sex. All right, I got 2 more tips left. Let me know how it's landing, or have you ever tried eye gazing or breathing together? Especially with eye gazing and breathing together, you may burst into giggles, and I say totally awesome. Giggles are really great, and that's okay. That's nervous, funny energy, and if you do find yourself laughing, just keep at it until you can actually do it with a straight face. It might take a while, but even just the act of trying something new together like that also creates a sense of connection. That's kind of actually a bonus tip. A tip number 6, which you'll hear often, is do something new or novel together. When we have new experiences with people, we see a different side of them. We see them in a different light. We get a sense of them as other and separate from us, which creates a sense of mystery and separation. So especially when we've been together for a long time, especially when we have kids and we spend a lot of time close to each other, we can start to make assumptions about each other. We start to kind of fill in the blanks about things. We get lazy about sort of discovering our partners. And there really isn't any like mystery there anymore. And as Esther Perel says a lot, she's the author of Mating in Captivity, when that sense of mystery is gone, desire can kind of disappear too. So when we do something novel together, we can see our partner in a new light. We have this experience, we create positive experience, positive emotions, positive hormones going through our body, and that creates a sense of bonding and connection between us as well. So do something novel together. That might mean watching a new show, trying a new activity like something I'm suggesting today. Reading a new book together, or going out and trying something in your city that you've never done before. All right, last two are talk to each other. I am going to do a whole other Let's Talk Sex Tuesday on the principles of sexual communication. And you'll see some posts from me this week talking about consent and how to make it light and fun. But the bottom line is, part of why we feel so disconnected during sex time sometimes is because we get very lost in our own heads about our experience, right? So those brain gremlins are happening. We're feeling worried about our bodies or the laundry or whatever it is. And also, we might be feeling worried because we don't know if what we're doing is making our partner feel good. We don't know if what we're doing is what our partner wants to do. We're feeling kind of this uncertainty, and we're not sure what to do about it, and we don't talk, right? So we're over here in our own soup, and our partner's over there in their own soup, and that means we're not connecting, right? We're both lost in our own stuff, and we're not actually communicating or feeling a sense of connection. And it can actually feel really isolating and lonely if we're desperately wishing our partner could read our mind and see or feel how we are feeling. And unfortunately, I don't know of anyone who's a literal mind reader yet. The way to break that cycle is to speak up. And it can feel really hard. It can feel challenging, but I encourage you to try to find ways to speak up, even in little ways. Is there one little thing that you can say? Or what can you ask of your partner to sort of extend the bridge and invite them into your mind, or ask for entry into theirs? So what can that look like? So a couple of examples or things that I like to think of is that there's a lot of sexual negotiation that happens that's not overt, especially when we've been together for a long time. We might sort of have a routine of the things that we like to do. First this happens, then this happens. And we don't really talk about it. We don't overtly negotiate what's going to happen or what people are into today. And a perfect example is, sometimes I just want to make out a little bit. And I'm not sure I want to go all the way. I just want to make out a little bit. But if I kiss my partner, he might take that as a sign that I want to have sex. And so I might feel afraid to kiss him, or if I do kiss him, then I'm going, oh my God, I hope he doesn't think that we want to have sex. So I haven't overtly said what that kiss meant. I'm just sort of assuming it won't go where I don't want it to go. And he hasn't really asked what this kiss is all about. He's just sort of assuming that maybe it'll go where he wants to go. So one of the ways that we can make that overt is, I could tune in and go, okay, I'm feeling like I want to be intimate right now, but I only want to make out. So I'm going to ask. I'm going to say, hey, I'm just feeling like making out right now. What do you think about that? And my partner can be like, yeah, that's cool. Or, yeah, that's cool, but I'd really love, X, Y, Z. And I could be like, yeah, okay, I'm down with that. And then we can dive in. And that can feel very lawyerly or negotiated or awkward because we don't have role models for that anywhere. But the beauty of it is, all of a sudden, we're kissing, we're making out, and I'm not worrying in a loop on my head, oh my God, is he going to try? Is he going to try to take my pants off? Am I going to have to tell him no? That's all gone, because I know and he knows that we're just making out, and that's what we agreed to. And on his side, he doesn't have to worry, does she want to have sex? I don't know. Should I try? Should I ask? All the worries get turned down because we're both on the same page about what my kiss meant and about what my kiss was an invitation for. I hope that's making sense. I hope that's clear. The idea here is that we want to get out of our own heads and invite our partners out of theirs by either being really clear about what it is that we are hoping for and want, or asking for them to give us clarity on what they're hoping for and want, or to get clear about feedback. People love feedback. Is something feeling really good? Is something not feeling good? Are you actually wanting this when you're getting that? The more we can communicate and talk about what's happening, the more connected we will feel, and the less we will feel isolated and stuck in our brains. We can't expect people to be mind readers. That's how we end up feeling lonely and cut off. So we need to be brave and step a foot out, because intimacy requires vulnerability, right? Feeling seen, the rewarding feeling of feeling seen, means being allowed to be, like, making it so that people can see us, being visible, making our requests visible, right? All right, so we've talked about micro intimacy and simmering as tip number 1. So how are you connecting throughout the day in small ways to be present with each other, mindful with each other, loving with each other, and sexy with each other? How are you simmering that pot so that it's easier to bring it up to a boil when you're ready? Eye gazing is a fantastic tool. Pardon me. Oh, gonna have a big yawn. Eye gazing is a perfect tool, either before you initiate sex, even throughout the day, or during sex, to get present with one another and feel connected. Breathing together, same thing. Before sex, during sex, nice deep breaths in synchronicity. The longer you do it, the more your cells, your energy, your body are going to sync, and you can feel this sort of cosmic connection. Bonus tip was doing something novel and new together, having an experience together that allows you to feel bonded and connected. Tip number 4 is talking. So getting more overt about your communication during sex, questioning everything, and questioning your assumptions is what I mean. So don't assume that a kiss means that. Don't assume because he's going down on you that he wants to have intercourse. Maybe he just wants to go down on you, and then that's it. Where are you making assumptions, and where can you negotiate more overtly? And where can you give feedback about what's feeling good and what you'd love to do instead? People love feedback. They love encouragement. Yay, and champions. And they love clarity. And that gets us out of our heads and into a sense of connection, right? We're trying to create a bridge between my brain and your brain so that I can feel like we are one. And my last tip is to learn each other's love language. I'm always surprised at the number of people who haven't heard of the love language book when I bump into them and chat about it, which is why I feel like it's worth mentioning here. If you haven't heard of it before, check out the website. I think you can just Google love languages. The idea is that there's 5 different ways that we all like to express our love and that we all like to receive love. And they're not the same for each individual, and how I share love might not be the same way that I like to receive love. I can never remember them all, but examples are: some of us are very touchy. We like to show our love by touching a lot. Some of us are wordy. We like to show our love by using words of affection. Some of us like to do acts of service. We fix your car. We, babysit for you. Whatever. We do acts of service. And some of us like to buy gifts. And I always forget what the last one is. I think it's quality time. Some of us like to spend quality time together. So if I'm someone with a love language that's touch and words of affection, so I understand and feel loved by my partner when I get touched a lot and hugged a lot and snuggled a lot, and when I get told a lot, I love you and you're beautiful and you're wonderful. But my partner actually just buys me a lot of gifts and does a lot of acts of service for me. Those are very loving things, but I don't process them mentally as love. So this person is spending all this time trying to show me that they love me, and I'm kind of processing it as love, but I'm not feeling it the same way, and I'm getting frustrated that they're not touching me more and that they're not talking to me more, that they're not giving me those words more. So when we're not speaking the right love language, people can feel, less. They don't feel the love that we're trying to share with them because they're not processing it. And so it's a two-way street, right? It's about knowing your own love language, letting your partner know what that is, knowing their love language, and then, expressing love in the way that you like to, but being aware that, if your partner loves to receive acts of service, that you might deliberately go out of your way to do that for them, even though you're really touchy, right? The other thing that you can think about or do this, a really fun way to connect, do something novel together. You could even start with some eye gazing and breathing, would be to make a list together of the things that make you feel the most loved and the most in the mood, and the most excited to have sex. So you could make a list of the things your partner has done for you in the past or that you know about yourself, and they could do the same. And then put it somewhere where you can remember it and use it. And then you've got this kind of handy dandy list where you remember that oh yeah, buying her flowers is really great. My ex didn't like flowers, but this partner really likes flowers. That's a good thing to know. Or, I love it when my partner kisses my neck before bed. So we get into bed, we start spooning and snuggling, and almost every single night I say, "Can you kiss my neck?" And he kisses my neck, and it feels really lovely, and I just love that. And sometimes I wish I didn't have to ask. I wish he would just do it, and he does, but I really like it, and so I make sure that I ask him because it makes me feel connected and lovey-dovey with him. So I invite you to explore your love languages together, or you could just simply make a list of those things, small and big, that make you feel loved and connected to each other, and then commit to implementing them as often as you can. So those are my 5 tips for connecting to your partner, for feeling more in the mood and more seen by each other, both in the moment and on the day-to-day. If you catch the replay, just post replay in the comments, and I'd love to hear your ideas. I'm always looking for new tips, tricks, and ideas that people have implemented in their life. So share with me, what are your top tools for connecting with your partner? What makes you feel totally in the mood, or just so romantically in love, or just good, good and content and relaxed. I love watching shitty Netflix shows with my partner and having a beer and laughing together. That just makes me feel good and happy. It's not ecstasy, it's not horniness, it's just connection and contentment, which is always part of the goal too. Thank you so much for watching today. Follow me on Facebook and IG, and head on over to the website. Click the Get in the Convo button on the bottom if you want to get more inbox. I will talk to you soon. Bye.